After meeting up at Queenstown with Andrew, Uta and Michael, who had flown down from Auckland, Wanaka shuttles took us to Makarora. In the early afternoon we choppered across the head of Lake Wanaka and into the Albert Burn, where we were dropped off at Albert Burn Hut. The lower reaches of the burn are reasonably open and the track closely followed the river to meet Safe Flat. From here the track climbs above the river and follows a series of terraces. We located a campsite just above the river after 2 hours hiking and enjoyed a swim as the sun disappeared behind the tops. That evening the valley reverberated with the sound of roaring stags. An 8 AM start had us sidling beside the river until we reached a large deep pool just before a steep climb. We were fortunate that a sandbank provided a way across where at its deepest it was only about a metre deep. We now had a steep climb up a spur to bypass the gorge before descending down to Top Forks, which is spot height 588. We now made our way back into the bush and climbed parallel to a series of waterfalls. Once the route markers stopped, we had a climbing sidle to bypass a scrubby bouldered spur. Most of us camped on the silt flats and enjoyed another swim before the sun disappeared behind the ridgeline. Day 3. Once across a tributary, we had an ugly ascent through the scrub and Spaniard to gain the bottom of the bluffs that provide easier access around the East Bend Cataract. After sidling under the bluffs, we had a steep tussock slope to negotiate with a bit more Spaniard just to keep everyone alert. 2 hours of muttering and cursing later, we finally got over spot height 1269 and had a good view southeast up this upper section of the valley. With this great weather window, we were content to wander up the valley and locate another great sandfly-free campsite. We had another lazy afternoon swimming and relaxing in the sun. A frost meant we started off the day with frozen tents. It was easy travel up the valley before beginning the climb up to the saddle. We found the spur between the two waterfalls that provided the best access and commenced a 300 metre vertical ascent. We crossed the main tributary a number of times as we navigated our way around bluffs and waterfalls. As we neared the saddle, the remnants of a recent dump of snow were evident. The views from the saddle across the Matukituki to Mount Aspiring and the nearby glaciers were spectacular. We stopped here for an extended lunch to dry our frozen tents and enjoy our surrounds on a windless blue sky day. We also had a F-16 and Hercules flyby as part of the Warbirds over Wanaka circuit to add to the drama. With another good weather forecast, we decided to camp high and descended off the saddle to gain the main ridgeline to camps around spot height 1534, close to a tarn. Our mealtime views west as the sun set behind Mount Aspiring would be hard to beat. Cloud shrouded the tops today and didn't lift till around midday. The weather was forecast to deteriorate tomorrow with rain in the afternoon and then fine weather for the next 4 days. That gave us the confidence to camp on the tops for another night and avoid the sandfly swarm on the valley floor. Most of us shifted to more exposed campsites to get a better view across the valley. We had another fab afternoon relaxing on the tops with exceptional views. Andrew received an updated forecast which included some unexpected high winds overnight. As the evening progressed, the wind increased, necessitating earplugs to minimise the sound of the flapping tent. A grey day with strong winds meant very careful packing up of the tent and a quick early departure off the tops. The cold wind meant full storm gear as we cruised down the ridgeline, picking up the main ground trail by the large tarn. Lower down we lost this trail and just continued down, picking the easiest route until we bisected the East Matukituki track. This track was well marked and we soon found ourselves descending the spur through an old burnt out section. Once on the valley floor we had a long 3-wire swing bridge to cross over the Matukituki East branch.
Junction Flat campsite.
The forecast rain set in mid-afternoon just after setting up camp, so we retreated to our tents for the rest of the day. A blue sky greeted us on day 7 as the rain moved off overnight. We had a late 10 AM start this morning for our 3-kilometre hike from Junction Flat up the Kitchener track to find a campsite at Aspiring Flat. The Kitchener River was roaring as we crossed the 3-wire bridge to the true right of the river. The morning sun streamed into the beech forest as we made our way up this well-formed track. Once we arrived at Aspiring Flat, we followed the river flats, admiring this heavily glaciated valley, and found a great well-established campsite 500 metres before the Rock of Ages Biv. We dried out our wet tents and then set up camp.
Camp light, Aspiring Flat. Drying our gear after a wet night. Uta having lunch behind the washing. A steam leader parked in the middle of the trail.
Mid-afternoon we walked up the valley and located the Rock of Ages Biv, and then continued up towards Turnbull Thompson Falls before returning as the sun quickly disappeared off the valley floor. Mist hung over the valley floor on day 8 as we left camp to commence our day climb to Wilmot Saddle and up to Sisyphus Peak. We split up into 2 teams as we made our way up Rainbow Stream. As the upper reaches of the valley opened up, we could see our intended route hugging the true right of the valley to gain access to the saddle. As we climbed higher, we had a better view of the cascading waterfall below Rainbow Col. We slowly made our way through the rock falls below the bluffs under Fastness Peak and past the now missing small glacier marked on the map. After scrambling across a few guts, we crossed some snow remnants onto the easier slopes just below the saddle. At Wilmot Saddle we had a short break while checking out the views down to Roof Flat and up to Fastness Peak and Glacier Dome. We now climb the remaining 170 vertical metres to Sisyphus Peak.
Well done. Before 12, 4 hours. Yeah, so there's our campsite.
After 30 minutes on the summit, it was time to leave and make our way down to the saddle. From here we followed the same route back down the valley with the shadows moving at a similar speed. We arrived back at the campsite after 7.5 hours and enjoyed the last of the sunshine before the sandflies went on the offensive. Mist rose from the valley floor as we made our way out of Aspiring Flat on day 9. Another blue sky day had the sun glistening off the snow-capped peaks as we made our way across the river flats to the start of the Kitchener track. The Kitchener River had dropped dramatically and was no longer roaring like it had been 2 days ago. Once past Junction Flat there was plenty of foot traffic on the East Matukituki track as trail runners and trampers made the most of a fine weekend. The light was fabulous for photography as we stopped regularly beside the river to admire the view. There were some great campsites on the terraces as we made our way towards the Glacier Burn track intersection. We stopped at a good campsite under a grove of trees beside a large sandbar and set up camp after walking for 6 kilometres over 3 hours. There was a bit of a frost on the ground as we started making our way past the Glacier Burn track intersection and across the paddocks to Junction Flat. We encountered a couple of streams where Andrew and Michael demonstrated different stream crossing techniques. As we started to make our way up the Matukituki West branch, we could see a stream of cars making their way up to Raspberry Creek. A 3-kilometre road bash completed our tramp at a busy Raspberry Creek car park. This end of the valley is much busier than the nearly empty East Matukituki. That ends another great extended tramp with the crew from Auckland. Thanks for watching.